Hi there, it's Memory from Friends Abroad Relationship School, and today is day 4 of our intentional healing. And I'm inviting you to join me for this session so that we can walk together to heal the inner child. And I'm going to jump in. So today, the topic I wanted to share with you is about shadow work. To embrace your wounded part of you. Actually, let's not talk about shadow work per se, because shadow work can be inner child work. You call it different things, rewiring your attachment, etc. But what we want to do is to explore the dark side and to accept the dark side. And what happens is that we all have a dark side, a side that we feel ashamed, and we feel guilty. We feel like we've got qualities that we cannot share with other people, or qualities that we know we possess, things that we like, or things that we might have an inclination to do, or some deeper feelings that we have. And what happens is sometimes we act them out because we haven't really explored the why behind them. And sometimes we hide them in shame. But what is important when we are healing is to embrace the dark side. Because when we embrace our dark side, we can also release our creativity, release our vitality, and the talents and gifts that we possess. So it is important that we welcome our dark side. But what happens is, with the dark side, we need to apply moderation. Because most of the time, when we are not healed or we haven't explored healing work, we tend to act out that dark side. There are people who have like some fantasies or some behaviors that probably are better off reflected on before they are acted on. And that might simply be because people are not sitting with their emotions, with those feelings to do, desires to do something. You do notice some people behaving in a way that you sort of wonder if they reflected on this behavior. Or other people, they harm other people or hurt other people in the process. Why? Because they have not sat with their dark side or embraced their dark side to say, you know what, I've got this way of doing that I have, that I know to be familiar to me. And what I want to do is I want to explore it and find out why I feel inclined to do 1, 2, 3, or why I want to behave in a certain way. So for your journal prompts, look into those behaviors that probably bring about shame, guilt, or where you feel like, I did that. Sometimes you ignore it. That's who I am. I will do that. They will see me when I go there. And you are actually probably not reflecting on the fact that that might not be helpful and in your best interest, because you are not probably practicing self-compassion. Because sometimes when we go and attack other people, we dramatize other people's behaviors, we sort of are judgmental, and we try to, we cross other people's boundaries and disrespect their boundaries. We probably could do with stepping back, detaching. When we detach, we are able to feel our sensations, to explore our sensations, and actually recognize what we are feeling. And then maybe we can do an objective evaluation and recognize that actually this might not be a good idea to act on this. This is not my business. This is my business. I need to focus on me and to parent myself, and maybe also look into, where did I learn this behavior? Sometimes we have behaviors like we have this thing that I notice sometimes in society, where we celebrate people who are probably with behaviors that are not very helpful, because it creates drama and many people are gathered around that drama. But what are we benefiting from in that society? What are we getting in that environment? It is important to explore that, to just write down anything that you might feel you are hiding, you are shameful about, things that you feel you have done or you do that you are not proud of. And if you embrace that, practice acceptance. This is me. This is what I have done, or this is what I've been doing. And acceptance also means you are going to say, I need to work through this. I have done this and I do this, and I also do some good things. There are, as human beings, it's not that we've got these negative behaviors only. We have a combination of behaviors, but sometimes our negative behaviors can really override the positive behaviors, because sometimes we are overly dramatic with what we do on the negatives, and we do push boundaries sometimes, and we need to reflect on whether that is in our best interest. So that is what we might need to journal today, to work through in the next 28 days, to explore why you do what you do and what you can do about it. So the important thing when we are doing inner child work, or when you explore the dark side, is to apply root cause analysis. And this is important. When you explore healing, learn to find out the root cause of what you are doing or where you are. And then when you know the root cause, you will understand how you can move forward from where you are. So that is very, very important. Why am I thinking, doing, feeling as I am feeling, thinking, doing? And where did I learn that from? And most of that, we might find that we learned it at some point on the physical trail. So that is very important, because you're not supposed to just do everything you feel like doing. It doesn't work like that. If we were to do that, there would be anarchy, because anyone would be doing anything. There would be chaos and all that. But we have to regulate ourselves. Whatever you learned in your society, there are some people who say, well, where we come from, this such and such a culture. And sometimes you need to step out of that, because you have to reflect, is this in my best interest? And when I do this, is this helpful for me? And also, there are some times when you need to consider other people. Is this helpful for other people? Very important to explore that. And it's also important because what has happened is we are addicted to chaos. It's like, for example, with drama, there are people who push boundaries and who like to trigger, they go out there and they know they press buttons so that other people can react. And what normally happens is that this can happen when people have got their own problems. So they are trying to find somewhere to discharge their negative emotions. But the thing is, that's not a self-compassionate way of doing it, of managing yourself. And that's also not compassionate towards other people. When you find people who are aware, they'll just, sort of cast you aside, or they will let you know, or anything. They can find ways to sort of not engage with that chaos, because I think peace of mind is very important. It is helpful that we do not get used to discomfort. And we want to also explore that when we make choices when we look into the dark side and we make choices in life, some of the choices that we make, the behaviors that we have, are codependent behaviors. Sometimes we are thinking that, well, I'm doing what I want to do, but is that in your best interest? So look into that, journal your dark side, the behaviors that you feel you want to work on, the behaviors which you might call your weaknesses, or things that you do to an extreme, where you push boundaries, where you do too much. And it might sound good sometimes, but it isn't. So that needs to be explored. And then also look into how you can explore creativity. When we are doing inner child work, it is important to look into what our childhood self liked to do, or what our childhood self likes to do, and then we can start doing that. Creativity, exercise, making things, writing, etc. So that's very, very important. There is more you can explore, but for today I'm going to stop there. And for the Siftem today, I have a good example of a trigger So I invite you to sit wherever you are and to just relax. Relax your shoulders, relax your legs, put your feet down, and just relax your jaw. Take a deep breath in and out. In and out. So you can do up to 15 deep breaths if you want to. And what I want to invite you to do is to reflect on a trigger that you probably want to work through today. What happened and how did it make you feel? So I'll give an example of a situation which someone shared that there's somebody that they have told repeatedly that they do not like something, but this person repeated that thing again and they felt angry about it. So feeling angry because someone did something they did not like. And trigger score, let's say the score was an 8 to 10, and then we apply deep breathing as we continue to breathe, even to hug the self, to rock the self as we are doing this work, because we have a child in us who needs soothing as we triggered. And the next thing that you need to do is to explore pre-triggers. Pre-triggers may look like unhealed trauma, maybe a relationship history. So with that person, there's a relationship history where this person has crossed boundaries a few times. And then other situations might be that this the triggered person was tired, maybe they didn't sleep very well, and also maybe they were hungry and stressed from work. And then the next question is sensations. What are the bodily sensations? Maybe a pit in the stomach, maybe chest pain, a headache, and other sensations that you might think of that apply to your trigger. Images, they could see this person, pushing boundaries. You can actually create a mental image of someone pushing boundaries, like they're actually pushing boundaries physically. And then thought feelings, anger, upset, disappointed, sad, and then thoughts. Why does this person keep repeating or doing the same thing that they know that I do not like to engage with? And that's a fallacy of control. And also, this person is disrespectful. Maybe that's filtering. It's not that they are just disrespectful all the time. They also do positive things sometimes. And then the root cause. Why do I feel angry, or why did I feel angry when this person repeated the same thing that I have said I do not like? Because I do not feel like they are hearing me and taking in what I am saying to them. So therefore, they are intentionally disrespecting me. So that can actually be the root cause. So when we look at triggers like that, we are saying that although we've got a root cause, we also need to go back to the story itself to actually get the unmet need. And the first unmet need that you can pick up straight away there is this, to be respected. This person wants to be respected. And also, it can be to be in control, because they are trying to convince somebody that they do not like something, and they are trying to be in control of a situation, and their anxiety is kicking in because of that. And then the other unmet need is to be understood. Obviously, when someone keeps repeating the same violation of boundaries, then you might feel that you are not being understood. So the parenting, so we want to parent to be understood, to be in control, and also to be respected, as well as parenting the pre-triggers, sleep and stress and tiredness. That's very important, because you want to recognize the reason why your trigger impact might be more than it might have been if you were emotionally, your emotional baseline was a bit healthier. So parenting now, say things to your inner child that you would like to hear in times like this when someone does not hear you. I hear you. I love you so much. Your feelings are valid. You're doing a great job. I'm here for you, and we are going to work through this. We need to understand that sometimes people do what they do for their own reasons, but I will be the one who's going to listen to you, to pay attention to your needs, and to parent you and provide you with what you want. I understand you, and I will spend time with you. I respect you, I respect what you want, and that's why I'm sitting down with you right now, to spend time with you and hear you and understand you. And we can take control of our life and do what is best for us. I'm here to go through this with you so that you can feel heard. We've got this. So those are the words of affirmations that you can use. And also practice gratitude. I'm grateful for life, for being here, for everything that happens well in my life. And I've been through similar situations before, and I can go through this. So when it comes to reframes, the first reframe might sound like, maybe this person is also trying to be heard, in their own way. They are trying to communicate something. That's a reframe. And also, maybe it might help to be curious to find out what they actually want to say. Or maybe, because this is continuing, it might be time to take some space away from this person. Because obviously they do want to push the boundary and it's feeling uncomfortable. And then role reversal may look like, I would like to understand where I'm coming from. And sometimes that's all it is. Or they feel like, well, why would you be angry with what I'm saying rather than responding to what I'm saying? That is all. So that is what some of the statements that you can make during the trigger management. And then for solutions, intermediate solutions, the first one is self-care. And then in this situation, you want to look into making sure that you, in the self-care, this person sleeps well because they are probably struggling with trigger self-regulation because of lack of enough sleep. So they need to sleep enough so that they are not triggered by anything and everything. And they also want to look into managing the stress from work that they are having so that, again, they are not pre-triggered. And then the next thing that they might want to do is to maybe communicate with this person if necessary. If it's necessary, sometimes it's not. Because there are circumstances when you need to choose your battles, to apply the dichotomy of control. Is this really necessary for me to be chasing this person and trying to convince them that I don't like this? Sometimes you just need to get people out of your environment, and that is fine, because sometimes you can trigger yourself by keeping yourself in such unhealthy environments, or you can simply ignore. So there are also those options to ignore that kind of person, because what happens is some people, you can see where they are you can see partly where they are coming from, partially where they are coming from. They've got their own stories that they are struggling with, and maybe they come into an interaction wanting to feel heard somewhere else, but their need to be understood might be misplaced, because they are just lashing out anywhere and everywhere instead of addressing their problem. What is really going on with me? So what they then do is they just find a weak point where they can lash out, or where they can cross boundaries because they feel entitled. They feel that they can get away with violating other people's boundaries. But you need to stand firm in your values and say no to that. And how do you say no to that? By choosing your battles. If you notice that someone is coming to you in a triggered state, if you've got space for compassion, do so. But sometimes we don't. Sometimes we are also trying to be compassionate to ourselves because we all have our own issues to deal with. And if you feel like you are not in a state to be compassionate towards another human because you actually need the compassion yourself, step back and detach and practice self-parenting and be compassionate to yourself instead. You've got the right to do that. You've got the right to put yourself first rather than prioritize other people. Because anyone and everyone is trying to look out for themselves first. And then when we have looked out for ourselves, then we can come together and look out for others too. That is very important. Otherwise, you can actually look out for others as a coping strategy, and it's not helpful at all. I have to rest myself first to feel like, okay, I can do this. And if I can't, I won't do it, because I won't be able to do it because I'm not being kind to myself. So that is really, really important. There is nothing wrong with detaching and leaving people to their own devices. And then when you've created solutions intermediate, there are other things that you can do. You also want to, if you want to be understood, you want to be respected, gravitate towards people who understand you and people who can respect you. You've got those people in your immediate circle, in the greater good. You've got people like that. You look for them or gravitate towards them. But first of all, you need to respect yourself, to honor yourself, and to hear yourself first through self-parenting. And then after that, you can also find and meet mirrors along the path of your physical trail. And then when you finish that, there's more other solutions you can apply to this situation, but for the sake of the session, we'll stop at that. And then maybe long-term solutions will look like self-care again. Start practicing your self-care, which is also what you need to mention in your trigger management. And long term, you might also need to detach and look into whether this person is coming back again with their situation, and noticing what you have, the solutions that you have applied intermediate, and whether they've worked or whether this person has moved away or they are still trying, in which case you might need to address it in different ways. When people violate boundaries, there's so many ways to address that. You can stop contact, you can detach from them, you can, if it's actually like a serious situation where your life is in danger, you can actually report to authorities. So those are some of the ways that you can address situations like that long term. And also healing, you need to explore your healing work and to invest in yourself and your interests. And when you're finished doing the exercise, you can apply other exercises if you need to, or you can just do a cathartic shake. Okay, and then score yourself. You were 7-8 at the start, and maybe now you are a 3-2, and that is fine. And as I said, if there's other issues, you can do another exercise. And for example, today we just do a rapid eye movement because I'm going to bed in a minute. So we just move your eyes from side to side. There are other ways of doing it. Look up on YouTube. There are so many exercises related to this. Some people do tapping and all that. But that's all very helpful. For me, I just look for these exercises and I just use them when I'm struggling or when I feel like I'm feeling triggered, and I use them and I find that they work. But they work in combination with other exercises, not on their own. So that is helpful. And that is all for today. And then after that, you can evaluate your developmental needs at the end of your journal. When you've journaled, when you're journaling, you need to evaluate your developmental needs. What did I do today in terms of my healing? Like for me, for example, I am on a journey of weight loss and healthy eating. I've managed to eat my my recommended calories, and I've also done about 5-point-something kilometer run walk, and that has helped me burn the calories that I need to burn daily. And also throughout the day, I've managed to do a bit of segment intending, which is quite helpful for me. So that is for today. And I am hoping that as you watch this, you can also go through your own SIFTSEM, your own situation, your own trigger, and manage that trigger with me, or whenever you watch this video. I hope that was helpful, and I hope I'll see you tomorrow again as we continue on this healing journey until the end of April. Quality life before relationships. See you soon. Bye.